Another part of that effort is on display at the U.S. Military Command Center in Qatar. A Hollywood set designer was brought in to create a $200,000 backdrop for official war briefings.
And tied in with that,
il y a également la vénération de la technologie du Pentagone.
I've fallen almost in love with the F-18 Super Hornet because it's quite a versatile plane.
I got to tell you, my favorite aircraft, the A-10 Warthog. I love the Warthogs.
This morning around 4 a.m. local time, the first three took off, and when you're 300 feet away from them when they do it, you hear it in your shoes and feel it in your gut.
The Pentagon's influence on war coverage has also been evident in the news media's tendency to focus on the technical sophistication of the latest weaponry.
Should they have used more? Should they, use a Moab, the mother of all bombs, and a few daisy cutters, and, let's not just stop at a couple of cruise missiles.
The newest, biggest, baddest U.S. bomb.
We'll pound them with 2,000-pound bombs and then go in.
2,000-pound bombs in urban areas?
Oh, sure.
The plane I'm holding in my hand here, the F-117 stealth fighter, was used in these attacks significantly.
How do you steer this thing? You have a stick, is that right?
Sure. We have both of us have matching center stick with left throttles. You can do
every war we have.
Pour chaque guerre, des médias américains ont loué les innovations de la technologie meurtrière. Cela remonte à la guerre du Vietnam.
B-57s. The British call them Canberra jets. We're using them very effectively here in this war in Vietnam to dive bomb the Viet Cong in these jungles beyond Da Nang here. Colonel, what's our mission we're about to embark on?
Well, our mission today, sir, is to report down to the site of the ambush 70 miles south of here and attempt to kill the BC.
The Colonel has just advised me that that is our target area right over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, we dropped our bombs, and now a tremendous G-load as we pull out of that dive. Oh, I know something of what those astronauts must go through. Well, Colonel, it's a great way to go to war.
Il existe une sorte d'idolâtrie pour certains, une adoration des dieux du métal.
That's the JDAM. It is a 2,000-pound bomb that is deadly accurate, and that is the thing that is allowed us in Afghanistan and will allow us in this next conflict to be terribly accurate, terribly precise, and terribly destructive.
In fact, even as U.S. military technology has become increasingly sophisticated with the development of so-called smart bombs and other forms of precision-guided weaponry, civilian casualties now greatly outnumber military deaths, a grim toll that has steadily increased since World War I.
Is the beginning of the shock and awe campaign. According to one official, this is going to be the entire 9 yards.
It was a breathtaking display of firepower.
Il y a une sorte d'acculturation inhumaine envers ce qui se passe à l'autre bout des armes américaines.
Behind the flight deck, the weapons officer, who goes by the call sign Oasis, will never see the ground or the target for that matter. The airfield is simply a fuzzy image on his radar.
Ceci est un autre aspect très insidieux de la propagande de guerre. Cela implique un parti pris. Les États-Unis ont en effet accès à de l'armement militaire de haute technologie. Et massacrer des populations à 10 000 ou même 300 mètres d'altitude en utilisant des armes dernier cri est d'une certaine façon un code moral, tandis que porter une ceinture d'explosifs pour faire sauter des innocents est considéré comme étant exactement le contraire.
The targeting capabilities and the care that goes into targeting to see that the precise targets are struck and that other targets are not struck is as impressive as anything anyone could see. The care that goes into it, the humanity that goes into it, to see that military targets are destroyed, to be sure, but that it's done in a way and in a manner and in a to struck in a direction and with a weapon that is appropriate to that very particularized target. The weapons that are being used today have a degree of precision that no one ever dreamt of.
Within this war-friendly news frame, the Defense Department has also been successful in shaping actual war reporting. Its influence reached new levels with the embedding of journalists during the war in Iraq.
The Pentagon tightly controlled the media during the 1991 Persian Gulf War, limiting where reporters could go and often restricting access to small groups of pool reporters. This time, the Pentagon is doing an about-face. After running more than 230 journalists through media boot camps, the Pentagon is inviting more than 500 media representatives to accompany U.S. combat units to war.
Despite being widely praised as a new form of realism in war coverage, the strategy of embedding reporters has raised new questions about the ability of war reporters to convey balanced information to the American people.
U.S. Army 7th Cavalry.
Rather than being kept far
Au
away,
lieu de tenir la presse à distance, elle a été accueillie et chouchoutée. Elle a elle-même participé au processus d'être choyée. Des centaines de journalistes ont été transportés avec les armées. En un sens, ils ont petit à petit fait partie de l'appareil d'invasion. Il n'y avait pas de journalistes embarqués chez ceux qui se faisaient bombarder, seulement avec ceux qui lâchaient les bombes. C'est à travers le regard de l'envahisseur que les reportages ont été faits.
It was a gradual process of getting to know and trust each other, and for them trusting me was knowing I would not blow their objective and get us all shelled with artillery.
People who were correspondents for the
Les correspondants des grandes chaînes de télévision américaines exprimaient assez clairement qu'ils avaient des liens très proches avec les soldats américains.
with the U.S. soldiers.
We have a number of correspondents in bed with our troops across the region. Some
very deeply embedded in a personal way with the Marines that he's traveling with. But he does remind...
Certains correspondants disaient même qu'ils feraient n'importe quoi pour ces soldats et que c'était réciproque. Il y avait cette camaraderie.
We had guys around us with guns. And they were intent on keeping us alive because they said, you guys are making us stars back home, so we need to protect you.
That's very nice.
C'est bien gentil tout ça, mais cela n'a rien à voir avec un journalisme indépendant dont on a encore plus besoin en temps de guerre. C'était un effort très astucieux de la part du Pentagone de dire « Vous voulez un accès direct? Le voilà ».
I doubt that in a conflict of this type there's ever been the degree of free press coverage as you are witnessing in this instance.
La notion d'embarquer les journalistes était en réalité une nouvelle ride dans le vieux jeu qui était et qui est encore la propagande de guerre.
Praise for the embedding process as a step forward in balanced war reporting has often invoked comparisons to media coverage of the Vietnam War.
A myth has kind of grown up after the Vietnam War.
Après la guerre du Vietnam, un mythe est né en quelque sorte sur la dureté de la couverture du conflit. Les Américains voyaient à la télévision la brutalité de l'intensification de la guerre. On évoque souvent cette époque comme une norme qui devrait être redécouverte ou imitée.
This is what the war in Vietnam is all about.
Yes, there was exceptional reporting.
Il y avait des reportages exceptionnels, mais ils étaient l'exception. On a vu les briquets Zippo que les GIs ont utilisés pour mettre le feu aux maisons d'un village grâce aux images de Morley Safer pour CBS. Les gens le mentionnent car c'était si inhabituel. D'ailleurs, la télévision n'a que rarement montré l'incroyable violence de ce conflit. Surtout parce que le gouvernement américain était responsable de tant de souffrances humaines. C'est l'aspect le plus tabou, montrer en détail très cru des humains, ce que cela implique lorsque des bombes, des missiles, des mortiers, payés par les impôts des Américains, font ce pourquoi ils ont été conçus, tuer et mutiler.
This is a great concern. I think it's part of the Vietnam syndrome.
The Vietnam syndrome that President Reagan mentioned was a reference to America's attempt to forget its most unpopular war.